discretion. 2 innocent lives lost yesterday, right? And broad daylight. And what was most horrible is in the midst of a playground where people, residents of Jade Court, would have their kids come out and play. And if you all would have observed, they were kicking a ball, which is football, for a man to run up on other people with a gun and fire shots. And in the end result, murder 2 people in front of several little children. That is atrocious. This is unacceptable.
It's 2:30 in the afternoon. The sun is out. Kids are laughing. Neighbors are going about their day. Just another Wednesday in the quiet community of Jade Court, Couva. Then, a gray Corolla rolls in slowly. A figure steps out, hoodie on, face hidden. And within seconds, gunshots tear through the air. People scatter, children scream. A mother throws herself toward her baby girl, trying to shield her from the chaos. But it's too late. By the time the shooting stops, 2 people are dead. And the little girl, barely 3 years old, is left standing in the middle of it all, covered in her mother's blood. This wasn't a robbery. This wasn't an accident. This was a targeted hit, carried out in broad daylight in front of an entire community. But here's the question that will haunt you. Who ordered this? And did the wrong person end up dead? You're welcome back to True Homicide Crimes. If you're new here, this is where we cover real stories, real victims, and real justice. Stories that the world needs to hear. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss one. Now, before we get into the full story, I want to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed violence in your own community? Something that shook you to your core and changed the way you see the world? Drop it in the comments below and tell me, where are you watching from today? Now, let's go back to Couva, Trinidad, because this story, it gets much darker. To understand what happened that day, you first need to understand where it happened. Couva is a town on the western coast of Trinidad. It's not a glamorous place. It's not a tourist destination. It's a working class community. The kind of place where people wake up early, go to work, and come home to their families. Where neighbors know each other by name. Where kids grow up playing in the streets. Jade Court, in the Lisa's Gardens West area, is exactly that kind of neighborhood. Rows of modest homes, families living side by side, a small park where children gather after school to run around, laugh, and just be kids. That Wednesday, February 12th, 2026, was no different from any other day. The sun was high. The air was warm. Children were in that very park, playing, completely carefree. Residents were going about their normal routines. Some inside their homes, some outside, just living their lives. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody could have prepared for what was about to happen in that park and in that neighborhood. It's straight in front of those children. Because in a matter of minutes, everything changed. Now let's talk about Amelia Hernandez. Amelia was 34 years old, a young woman, a daughter, a friend, but more than anything else, a mother. She had 2 children, a 12-year-old son and a little girl who had just turned 3. Those 2 kids were her whole world. Everything she did for them. Every decision she made, they were at the center of it. Her mother, Clark, described her in the simplest and most powerful way possible. She said, she was a very good mother. And that says everything when Amelia was the kind of woman who showed up, who put her children first, no matter what. The kind of mother who, even in the most terrifying moment of her life, didn't think about herself. Her first instinct, or her only instinct, was to protect her child. We'll get to that moment, but hold that thought. Now, Amelia had been in a relationship with Devon Toussaint. Together, they had their little girl, but by the time of this story, that relationship was over. They had gone their separate ways almost 3 years before. Whatever they once had, it was done. But life doesn't always let you walk away cleanly. When you share a child with someone, that connection doesn't just disappear. There are pickups, drop-offs, phone calls, arrangements. You stay linked, not as a couple, but as parents. And that is exactly what brought Amelia to Jade Court on that Wednesday afternoon. She wasn't there for Devon. She was there for her daughter, to pick her up and collect a few personal belongings. It was supposed to be a quick visit. She had no idea it would be her last. Now let's talk about Devon Toussaint. Devon was 38 years old. He lived in the Jade Court community in Lisa Gardens West, the same neighborhood where everything unfolded that afternoon. Unlike Amelia, Devon was not a stranger to law enforcement. Police confirmed that he was known to them and that he had a criminal record. Now, we are not here to put this man on trial. We are here to tell the truth. And the truth is that the life Devon lived came with very real dangers attached to it. When you move in certain circles, you make certain enemies. And at some point, those enemies come looking for you. Residents who spoke to the media believed that Devon was the gunman's intended target, not Amelia, not their daughter, Devon, and someone wanted him dead, and that someone was willing to do it in broad daylight, in a residential neighborhood, with children present, without a single moment of hesitation. That tells you everything about how determined this killer was. Now, despite their relationship ending nearly 3 years before, Devon and Amelia still shared the most important thing in the world, their daughter. They were co-parents, and whatever their personal differences were, that little girl kept them connected. So when Amelia came to his home that Wednesday afternoon to pick up their child, Devon was there. And so was someone else. Someone who had been waiting for exactly this moment. It's Wednesday, February 12th, 2026. Amelia gets ready to head out. She has 2 things on her mind. Pick up her little girl from Devon's place and grab a few personal items she had left behind. That's it. Simple, routine. The kind of thing co-parents do all the time. She arrives at Devon's home in Jade Court. The 3 of them, Devon, Amelia, and their 3-year-old daughter, end up outside near his car. Just a normal handover. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming. But somewhere nearby, someone is watching. Then, a gray Toyota Corolla rolls into the area. It slows down, it stops. A figure steps out. Hoodie pulled up, face covered, and before anyone can process what is happening, the shooting starts. The gunman opens fire directly at Devon Toussaint. Devon is hit. He goes down, right there, next to his car, on the street where he lived. In that same moment, Amelia sees everything, and her instinct kicks in immediately. She doesn't freeze. She doesn't run for herself. She runs toward her daughter, Gagnier, screaming, "Run! Run!" Trying to get her baby to safety, trying to put herself between her child and the gunman. But the gunman isn't finished. He turns his attention to Amelia. She runs. She is moving as fast as she can, but she trips. She falls to the ground. And the gunman doesn't stop. He chases her right into the nearby park. The same park where children had been playing just moments before. He fires at her again and again. Multiple shots. Children who were in that park had to run for their lives. Residents scrambled for cover. The entire neighborhood was thrown into chaos. Amelia Hernandez was shot multiple times in that park, in front of her 3-year-old daughter and in front of the whole community, and Devon Toussaint died right there at the scene. Amelia was rushed to the hospital Sunday, but it was too late. She was pronounced dead on arrival. The gunman got back into that gray Corolla and drove away. And then silence. Just a park, a neighborhood in shock, and a little girl, 3 years old, standing there, alone, covered in her mother's blood. I need to stop here for a second because what you just heard is a lot to take in. A man shot dead in the street. A mother gunned down in a park. A 3-year-old left standing in the middle of it all. And the person who did this just drove away. Now I want to hear from you. Was Amelia simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was she silenced because she saw something she wasn't supposed to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it. This story is far from over. When the gunshots stopped and the dust settled, the true weight of what happened began to sink in. Amelia's 3-year-old daughter was still there, still standing, physically unhurt, but covered in gunpowder residue and her mother's blood. A baby, 3 years old. And she had just watched her mother get chased down and killed right in front of her. In the days that followed, the little girl's behavior told a story that no child should ever have to live. She started hiding under tables. And when her grandmother would go looking for her and ask her to come out, the child would say, "Afoot, the gunman coming." 3 years old. And those are the words coming out of her mouth. Her grandmother, Clark, he said it best. Every time it melts my heart to see how traumatized she is and to think she has to live with this. Then there is Amelia's 12-year-old son, a boy who woke up that morning with a mother and went to bed that night without one. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. Clark stepped up immediately. She took both children in and has been holding the family together ever since. The Children's Authority also got involved to provide support, because what these children witnessed goes far beyond what any family can handle alone. But Clark herself is broken. She has not been able to bring herself to watch the video of her daughter's murder, a video that spread widely and was seen across the entire nation. She is a mother of 4, trying to stay strong for 2 traumatized grandchildren, while carrying a grief that has no bottom. She also admitted something deeply painful. She never approved of Amelia's relationship with Devon Toussaint. She knew the risks. She saw the danger. And now she has to live with the outcome. In her grief, Clark made a direct appeal to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, calling for hangings to resume in Trinidad. I agree with you 100% when you say this is a lawless place, she said. Daylight, 2:30 in the afternoon. My daughter was executed in front of her child. And it wasn't just one family that was left shaken. The entire Jade Court community was traumatized. Residents who witnessed it, children who ran for their lives in that park, neighbors who heard the screams. In response, your residents of Couva came together to organize a peace concert, a community crying out for an end to the violence tearing their neighborhood apart. As the community grieved, investigators got to work. Officers from the Homicide Bureau Region 3 took over the case. They had a crime scene. They had witnesses. They had a video of the attack that had already spread across the country. And they had one very important lead, a gray Toyota Corolla. That car is key. It brought the gunman in. It took him out. Finding that vehicle could be the thread that pulls this entire case open. But as of now, no arrest has been made. The shooter is still out there, still free, still walking around somewhere. And that terrifies people. One resident who spoke to the media refused to give their name. They were too afraid. And honestly, can you blame them? And when a gunman can walk into a neighborhood at 2:30 in the afternoon, kill 2 people, and simply drive away, silence feels like survival. Then there is Clark's theory. She believes Amelia was not just an innocent bystander. She believes her daughter was killed because she recognized the shooter, because she saw his face, and he could not afford to leave a witness behind. If Clark is right, this case just got a whole lot more chilling. Now, before we close out this story, let's talk about something important. Because as heartbreaking as this case is, there are lessons here. Things we can take away, things that might one day save a life. First, co-parenting with someone involved in criminal activity carries very real risks. Amelia and Devon were no longer together. She had moved on. Yeah, but that shared child meant she still had to show up at his home. She still had to be in his space. And on that particular day, his world collided with hers in the worst possible way. If you are in a similar situation, if the person you co-parent with is involved in activity that puts them in danger, please take that seriously. Meet in public places. Bring someone with you. Have a plan. Your safety matters just as much as the routine. Second, innocent people always pay the price for violence they had nothing to do with. Amelia didn't choose that life. The children in that park didn't choose to be there. But they all became victims the moment that gunman stepped out of that car. Trinidad has been battling a serious crime problem for years. Families are losing loved ones. Communities are living in fear. And the people who suffer most are not the ones pulling the triggers. They are the mothers, the children, the neighbors, the bystanders. Clark's appeal to the Prime Minister was raw and real. It was a mother's cry for a country to do better. And whether you agree with her solution or not, her pain is impossible to argue with. If you or someone you know is affected by community violence, please reach out to your local authorities, victim support services, or a trusted community leader. You do not have to face it alone. We started this story in the middle of chaos. Gunshots, screaming, a neighborhood thrown into panic. But let's end it where it truly matters. In her last moments, Amelia Hernandez did not think about herself. She thought about her daughter. She ran toward that little girl, not away from the danger. She screamed, "Run! Run!" She tripped. She fell. And even then, she never stopped trying. That is who Amelia was, not a statistic, not a headline, a mother, a daughter, a woman who gave everything she had, right up until her very last breath. Devon Toussaint also leaves behind a child who will grow up asking questions that no child should ever have to ask. Both of them deserve justice. And that killer, who drove away in a gray Corolla like nothing happened, deserves to be found. If this story moved you, please like this video and share it, because Amelia and Devon deserve to be remembered, and their killer deserves to be found. Subscribe so you never miss a story like this. And tell me in the comments, what should justice look like for the person who did this? Rest in peace, Amelia. Rest in peace, Devon.